Okay. Hello guys, welcome to my video. Today I want to talk about something like 외모정병, which means appearance obsession. It's a Korean slang that's been used a lot lately, especially on social media. So people just casually say things like, I think I have 외모정병 these days, stuff like that. It doesn't just mean thinking I'm ugly, but it's more about obsessing over something small and like specific details. Like wondering why your meat face looks so long, and like why your nose feels too wide, and like why your, like cheekbones or jaws stand out too much. It's a state of fixating on tiny flaws and feeling so stressed because of them. Personally, I think social media plays a huge role in this because even when you're at home, all it takes is opening your phone and you're suddenly surrounded by celebrities and influencers who look perfectly styled from head to toe. In that kind of environment, I think comparing myself to others almost feels like unavoidable. That's when people start considering plastic surgery or extreme dieting. And at some point, I started wondering, does that actually fix 외모정병? So I'm like genuinely curious. So for those of you who've experienced it, did fixing the part that you weren't happy with really make things better, or did you find yourself obsessing over something else afterward? So if you're comfortable, I would love to hear your guys' stories in the comments. As for me, I can't say I'm completely satisfied with my appearance right now. Because sometimes when I look in the mirror, I still notice things that I wouldn't like. But the difference is those thoughts don't stress me out the way they used to be. I can now look at myself and think, well, this is just part of who I am, and like let it be. To be honest, even before the word 외모정병 existed, I think I was already dealing with it in my teens. So like when puberty hit, my interest in appearance like skyrocketed. Every time I looked in the mirror, I felt like I look terrible. Why do I look like this? And feeling so overwhelmed by it, I compared myself to others like endlessly, like K-pop idols, influencers, and like celebrities. Watching them made me feel smaller and smaller, and I knew logically that they were styled, edited, and like professionally managed, but even knowing that, I couldn't stop comparing myself. Eventually, it became too painful to even look at them, so I started avoiding that kind of content altogether. And I told myself once I became an adult, I would completely change my face, save up money, and get everything done. Then at some point, there's some YouTube videos about like personal color analysis, hair, like body type, face shapes started becoming really popular. Since I desperately wanted to become prettier, so I naturally became drawn to that kind of content. So at first I watched them to figure out how to fix my flaws. But strangely enough, the more I watched, the more those flaws started to feel less like flaws and more like just parts of who I am. For example, I really hated my skin tone, and people used to tell me it looked dull or unhealthy, which was rude, by the way. But that became a huge insecurity for me. Then I came across some video that talked specifically about the kind of skin tone. It explained that this undertone has its own unique mood, and there are colors that suit it beautifully. I even realized many of the colors that I already loved actually suited me well. That's when I slowly started accepting my skin tone and even liking it. Before, whenever skin tone came up in conversation, I felt irritated and just wanted to avoid the topic. But now I can talk about it calmly and even like confidently. I also struggled a lot with facial asymmetry. Even now, my face isn't very symmetrical. It's more noticeable in real life though. But in videos that talked about asymmetry, I saw how it creates a certain atmosphere. They show celebrities with similar features, analyzing their traits, styles that suit them, and the kind of charm those features create. Looking at those examples, I realized the traits that I hated in myself didn't look like flaws at all on others. They just looked like part of their charm. That's when I started thinking maybe this isn't a flaw for me either. Maybe it's just my individuality. After that, I stopped seeing my appearance as something that needed to be fixed. Instead, I began to see it as a set of traits that could work beautifully in their own way. And little by little, I think my obsession with my looks started to fade. Of course, I can't say that this change in mindset alone completely cured my appearance obsession. I also started working out, managing my diet, taking better care of my skin, spending time actually caring for myself. Through that process, I did become healthier, and yeah, I became a little prettier too. But this isn't an answer, it's not advice. It's just one experience, something I've learned while living my life. And for anyone who's struggling with 외모정병 right now, there's something I really want to say. There's no such thing as a perfect person, and you don't need to become perfect. There's a phrase a YouTuber that I really like often says in her videos, and I would like to end today with those words. Everyone has their own charm, and you're already beautiful more than enough.